Hey guys, Tamao here from Pokemon TCG HQ, and I'm finally doing another video. It's been ages, and I know we keep on saying we'll do it more frequently, but hopefully this is the turning point for our channel. Just a bit of background: we have had a lot of things taking up our time. We are currently in the process of moving house. I'm currently sitting on the floor in my room recording this video, but any setup is better than nothing, and hopefully when we move house I'm going to be setting up a sweet desk I can record from, and I'll be able to pump out these videos hopefully on a weekly basis. Hopefully there's enough things to talk about. But yeah, I'm going to be doing some new videos, focusing a lot more on deck building than other channels might do, because I notice a lot of channels just throw out the deck, say here's the list, play a game, sorted. I want to show kind of what goes through my head when I'm building a deck, so you can kind of apply it to your own deck building. I think it'll be quite cool to see. So it's something different. If it works, it works, and I'll carry on doing it, but I'll crack right on. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so here we are in a deck building screen. 0 cards in deck so far, it's a good start. I've decided to build one of my pet favourite decks of this format, which is this Mega Gardevoir deck. So we'll have a look at it. Despair Ray, 110, discard as many from your bench as you like, and do 10 extra damage. I think it's quite a cool deck, quite a cool card in general. And we're going to have a go at building maybe like a turbo version of this. So this is how I deck build. I'm going to go straight in and chuck in 4 of these things. You could consider this Brilliant Arrow Attack, but it costs 3 energy, and I don't know how easy that will be to power up. So for now, I'm gonna put that on the bench, but it's always something to consider. Now we need to consider what Gardevoir we're gonna play. So we have 2 options. We have Link Blast, which looks amazing, and you probably want to play it just for the fact that it looks amazing. But it has a 2 energy attack, and we could just play this Gardevoir instead, which has a 1 energy attack. It's only 20 damage, but it's pretty cool. The only positive to playing this Gardevoir really is in a tight situation against decks like Vespiquen and maybe like Raichu, things like that. You do have a 2 energy attack that does 100 damage. They're likely going to have 2 energy on them. So it's always worth considering this, but overall I think Link Blast Gardevoir is the one we want to go for. Thankfully we do have just about 4. So we're not necessarily going to play a 4-4 line, but this is how I deck build. I pump up my deck with as many cards as possible and then start cutting down from there. So because we can fill our bench with whatever we want, we're going to go full on with 4 Shaman and 2 Hooper. So it's going to be quite an explosive deck for that. And then we're going to go into tech Pokemon that I can put on the bench. So stuff that comes to mind that I want to put on the bench, don't mind discarding. Loves a bit of consistency. I think I'll have to go for some unknowns. We'll chuck 4 of these in and see how that goes. We can't really go wrong with that. Other tech Pokemon, you're looking at Absol and Hawlucha really. They're the only come into play power ability Pokemon that you'd really want to consider. So that's not how you spell Absol. Go for one of those. And the new Hawlucha, if you don't know what Absol does, it just moves 3 damage counters from one Pokemon to another, which can be cool, especially because you're going to be 2-hitting a lot of things. I don't know which one of these is it. It's either of them. That's good. So we'll take one of those. We might want more. You want to consider some of the stuff that this Pokemon's weak to. If you have a look, it's weak to Steel. I think we take the approach right now that if we come up against Steel, we're unlucky, and we take the loss there, to be honest. It does 120 damage, Mega Scissor, and we'll one-hit KO this. There's not really much fire, colourless techs, if you know what I mean. Nothing you can really splash into your deck to really deal with Scissor. So I do have a build of Gardevoir that has some outs to Scissor, but this is not going to be one of those. So we're going to take a more streamlined approach with our deck. Alright, I think for now, that's all the Pokemon we're going to need. We'll go into energy. Typically I'd like quite a low energy count with a Mega deck, especially because it only needs 2 energy to attack, but we are going to try and utilize Mega Turbo in this deck, so we need to bump up the energy a bit more than I'd usually like to. We'll especially bump it up to begin with, because I want to fluff the deck up to cut down on cards later on. So we're going to put in 11 for now, which is very high. This is 3 more than I play in a regular Mega deck. You know what? I'm feeling crazy. I'll go for 12. So that's a higher count. Supporter line. We're very lucky with this deck because we're encouraged to bench stuff. A lot of decks you do not really want to bench anything, and it leads to you wanting to play less Shaman, wanting to play less Hooper. This deck you really don't mind. You'll happily play it, so you don't need to play as many supporters. So we'll start with the obvious Sycamore. We have a nice fill up, might as well use it. We'll start off with 4, and we'll go for 2N for now, and it's very likely to come down to 1. But that's good enough for now. Lysander's going to be very important in this deck because if you saw its attack, it does 120 damage exactly, 110 damage exactly, which is a very nice number for knocking out Shamans, so that's how we're going to be getting a lot of our cheap prizes, I feel. And any other supporters that we could use. Let's have a look to see what there is. So supporters in standard, apply. There is Giovanni's, which could be interesting. It could help us hit those higher numbers for EX Pokemon so that we don't need Skyfield. It's something worth considering, but for now I'm not a huge fan of it. We definitely want 1 Hex Maniac. We need a Hex Maniac in case we come up against Giratina. Great thing about Giratina is it's weak to Fairy. So even though you can't hit it, as long as you have a Hex Maniac, just knock it out in 1 hit, no problem. So that's a cool card to put in this deck. It's something you have to put in this deck because you can't just lose that 1 card. Olympia and Scent Lady, both interesting options. I'll save on them for now. I'll think about them. I might put in 1 Olympia for now, as you need. There's a good chance you start with a Shaman or a Hooper or any undesirable card because you play so many. And within the first 2 turns, you will need to switch that out. So we will do that for now, but that's a good chance of that coming out. Skylar is something worth considering. Skylar became a lot better recently just because the format slowed down a lot. I think it's worth playing 1 for now, just as a good search out to a turn 1 Ultra Ball, which is all you need, or a Float Stone at some point to switch out an active Pokemon, so that's cool. Don't really need too much disruption. Wally's not going to do much, and neither is Winona. So these are the supporters that I'd consider playing this deck. This is again fluffed out and not what I'd actually play, but we'll cut down later on. So we're going to trainers now. First of all, we'll do tools and stadiums. So Gardevoir Spirit Link is not a supporter, so it's not going to show up. There we go, we'll put in 4 for now. And we want Skyfield. Again, we'll put 4 for now. Awesome. And we'll go into any other considerations for tools and supporters. Well, we need Float Stones because we're obviously going to start something we don't want to start. So we'll play 2 Float Stones. Don't really need there's no other real good tools in the format, and a lot of the times you need the Spirit Links on the Gardevoir. And stadium wise, I feel it's pretty much the only. If we had D-Valley would be cool, but it's not in format. So there's not much else to really consider. I think it's always worth going through the filter and seeing if there's anything you might have forgotten. But the likelihood is we definitely don't want Faded Town. Fairy Garden could be very cool, as we are only playing Fairy Energy, and it's something I haven't actually really considered. I think think we leave it out for now. Parallel could be interesting if it could stop people from blocking your bench, if you know what I mean. So you play it the other way around so that opponent is blocked through in their bench, and then they won't be able to play their own parallel city to deny your bench. But it's a bit too cute to really do anything. Shrine Memories, attacks aren't that good. Could give you an out to scissor, but it stops you being one-hit KO'd if you use Gardevoir's second attack on a base form, because it gives it no weakness, but it's a 3 energy attack. And yeah, there's nothing really else there. So we've done with the stadiums. Turn off the filter. Alright then, so we'll go into the standard trainer line. So you're looking at 4 Ultra Ball. You want to start Ultra Ball in your open hand every single game. It's the perfect card to see. So 4 Ultra Ball. You could consider Level Ball. There are 2 Level Ball targets in this deck, so it's not a huge amount. And for now I think we'll leave it out. There are some variants of this Gardevoir deck where Level Ball would be a great addition. I'm currently playing it in another build. This just isn't the build for it. So we're going to Trainer's Mail next. Trainer's Mail, I'm not too happy playing too many of these. We don't actually play that many trainers in this deck. We play a lot of Pokemon Draw. So we'll put them in for now, but this could very well be better served as another card, and it could come out. So we'll watch that space. We definitely want Mega Turbo. Again, put in 4 for now. Any other cards to go into a Gardevoir deck? There is one very obvious inclusion that I almost forgot about. We're gonna look at Super Rod. So for now, we'll play 3. We'll put in 4 for now. There's a very good chance that there's enough space for 4. It's really important to recover your stuff. The only annoying thing with Super Rod is it does put energies back in, and you do want to use Mega Turbo for energies, so you're just hoping they've discarded enough unknowns or something like that so that you can get those back in your deck instead of energies. Ideally would like some more ways of discarding energy, but the only other way really would be to substitute Trainer's Mail for Acrobike, which could be a decent thing. You run a lot of recovery, so it wouldn't be too sad if you discarded important stuff. There's nothing important you could discard in this deck. You discard a Pokemon, that's fine, you get it back for Super Rod. You discard a supporter, that's fine, you've got VS Seekers. You discard energy, that's fine, you've got Mega Turbo. So Acrobike could be a really cool card in this deck. Speaking of which, I heard VS Seeker was quite a good card. So we'll put 4 of those in. And it looks like we are at... You know what, I'll put the Acros in for now as well, because at the moment, in my head, obviously this could change after testing, but in my head I'm liking it over Trainer's Mail, just in theory. We're not playing a huge amount of trainers compared to, obviously it looks like a lot there, 45, but it will be cutting down, so... Let me see. This is where we have to start cutting stuff, so the first thing I want to cut is 2 energy. We'll take it down to 10. 10's the safe number right now, and you can go down to 9. We'll look at some Pokemon that we don't need. We definitely don't need 3 Mega Gardevoir. We play 4 Super Rod right now, so that is 100% overkill. Hawlucha is a luxury. It's an absolute luxury, and it would be consideration to take out around the 63rd, 4th card. So we'll have to dump some of these first. I'm not liking Olympia. I think the Skylar for Floatstone is good enough in the early game, so we'll get rid of Olympia. I think 2N, again, is very overkill. So I like the 4 Sycamore just because, again, we were talking, it's the same theory as Acrobike. We don't mind too much about what we discard. It's very unlikely that we're going to have the choice to discard like a VS Seeker and a Super Rod, and it'd be quite painful, quite a painful decision. So we'll go for that for now. 3 Skyfield is enough. Skyfield is basically only ready for damage output. You should only really need 2 in a game, hopefully. And we'll get into some of these trainers. So Super Rod definitely can come down to 3. I think I'm cutting Trainer's Mail altogether. I'm not liking it. Obviously that can change if I find that Acrobike is turning out to be quite lackluster. But I have high hopes for Acrobike, so we'll see how that goes for now. So right, we're about the 66 card mark, and that's when I said I'd take out the Horlucha. I think it's fine to take out now. Absol's pretty cool, I'd rather keep that in. So, we have some, this is where we come down to the tough decisions. We've got 5 cards to trim this deck of. And there's nothing that's really jumping out to me. 3 Gardevoir Spirit Link is nice. Potentially unnecessary, but it's always nice. I think we take it down to 3 for now. And we will also take out 1 Acrobike and 1 Mega Turbo. I'm playing a lot of 3-off counts now. But I think that's fine. So we're down to 2. It is tempting to take the energy down to 9, but it's just going to make it that much harder to get a turn 1 Brilliant Arrow, I believe the attack's called. Despair Ray, god. They're all the same to me, apparently. So let's think about how many basic Pokemon we're running right now. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 15 basic Pokemon. So that's enough for really 2 reloads, which is actually quite a lot. So I think it's not a problem taking 1 unknown out. It's a lot of reload potential, especially with 3 Super Odds, which I think we'll keep at 3. I don't think we can go any further than 3. The only card that's potentially standing out, maybe we take out 1 Lysander, but without Battle Compressor in the format, it's really hard to find that Lysander now. And I feel like taking out Shamans is going to be a very crucial part to our strategy, so I'd rather keep that at 2. Skylar, again, I feel like I play either Skylar or Olympia. In this case, I think Skylar's the better shout, so we'll stay with that. Skylar is... it's an awkward one. Definitely not taken out of the SC Cutter, Hex, N, Sycamore, so none of these seem really surplus, so we could go towards the Acrobike. It's a reluctant cut, but for now it's something we just play around with and see how it takes us. So this is it. This is how the deck's been trimmed down to 60 cards. It's potentially not optimal, but that's what testing the deck is for. So this is just showing how deck building goes for me. We'll expand the deck, have a look. This is my thought process on how Gardevoir could be played. This is definitely not the only way to play Gardevoir. There are many ways to play this deck. It's such an interesting card because of all the things you can do with it. All the different Gardevoirs there are as well. There's 2 different Gardevoir EXs, 2 different Mega Gardevoirs. So it's definitely a deck you can have fun with and really try to find some different builds of make your own mark on the deck. So we'll go into a game shortly, and hopefully it'll be a good one, and see you then. Alright, let's get into a game. Full disclosure, there are a couple of changes that I would like to make to the deck, but just for the purposes of this video I won't make them yet, and hopefully they'll become apparent during the game. And that's all part of testing your deck really, and it's all an important part of the process of building a deck. So I'm hoping the problems do become apparent in the game, and if not, I will go through the changes that I would make to this deck after just a couple of games with it. Great. We start off with Unknown, which is probably like our 2nd worst starter. It's not a problem, as long as we get a Float Stone, or it gets knocked out, then we can put some pressure on with Gardevoir turn 2, hopefully. Not too sure what my opponent's playing quite yet. It turns out to be Volcanion. There was a lot of colours I wasn't really paying attention to, so I don't know if it's a techie one, but Volcanion could be an interesting matchup. Right, so he's playing the Max Elixir version, that's alright. Potentially a little bit more explosive then, we'll see. Very much expect them to hit the Max Elixirs because they tend to run at least 12 energy. But that is a slow turn. Okay, that is a great top deck. Probably shouldn't have benched it straight away, but we'll acrobike. We have VS Seeker in hand, so it doesn't really matter what we discard at all, so we might as well take the fairy. And the question is, do we actually do anything this turn? I think there's very much a case to just say we hold on to this hand and hope for an explosive turn next turn. He's not doing much, so why should we be in a hurry? Unfortunately, unless he gets 2 Volcanions down or a Fury Belt or something, he's not actually going to kill this unknown. I'd quite like him to kill the unknown. And he gets another train as well. This should help him hopefully dig for a supporter, and there we go. He should get going now. If he's got a couple of fires in his hand as well, that's going to be fantastic for him. He decides to attach the fire. He must have a lot of fires in his hand. He has 1. I think you may as well just discard the 2, and you'll get to attach 2 with Volcanion that way. But so he's got a Flareon going right now. This is currently hitting for 110, 170, 180. I'm not really good at this math, but it can one-hit KO Mega Gardevoir very easily, so this is an issue. Alright. Yeah, I guess attaching makes sense then. I forgot Volcanion does put fires to the discard. Hopefully he does knock out this unknown. I would appreciate that. And I'm hoping he attaches his fire energies to a Volcanion EX or something instead of the Flareon. If he attaches the Flareon, then he's very much threatening a knockout next turn. Alright, that's good for me, because he's currently hitting for 2061. Okay. Oh, it's not as insane as I thought it was. 110. Oh, he can't really knock me out then. Okay, that's a terrible top deck, but question is whether to discard this energy of the Sycamore or not to get a Mega Turbo potential. We're definitely playing the Skyfield. The thing is, it's just so bad if I don't hit this energy, and I'm hoping for an Ultra Ball anyway, so I'm going to attach it. I need to attack this turn. And we'll Sycamore on out of here. Get the Ultra Ball and the energy, so we can do some stuff. We can definitely get a knockout this turn. We have a lot of VS Seeker. A hell of a lot of VS Seeker. Hope Koopa's not prized. Ooh, it looks like they fixed the scroll wheel. That's nice. It's going to be a bit of an effort killing the Flareon. You're going to have to 2-hit KO it, but that's fine. Right, we'll get Shaman, Gardevoir, and Gardevoir. Don't think we need anything more. And one of the problems with this deck should be very apparent soon. So we'll Spirit Link, they're both the same, they just look, there's just so many different arts. And we'll set up. Not ideal. Certainly not ideal. We'd like to get an N at some point. I wanted some more Pokemon to discard off the bench as well. Like some... Well, we have enough to KO it. That's all that matters. It looks like we're going to have to be in the business of 2-hit KOing this Flareon. He can very much 1-hit KO me next turn. Hex is going to be cool if he doesn't knock me out. Definitely worried this turn. If he knocks me out, I'm in a very bad position, considering I will have to Sycamore. Okay, he's gonna bring on the energies up. He's got 4 energies, so it's hitting for 130, 140 right now, 160, 2 steam ups. That puts it to 190. And then N. So if he gets a fire, I'm happy about the end. As long as I get another supporter. Yeah, it was fine. We also have the Hooper to get the Mega Gardevoir, as long as the last one's not prized. If it's prized, I'm very sad. It looks like he might have to dig. He plays a camera up. He might have to dig for this this fire energy. Which isn't too bad for us. He's really digging. I wonder how many he's gone through. 3, 8, 9. 9 so far, so he's got retrievals and possibly 3 energy to try and dig for in a 23 card deck. He'll probably hit it. Man, Hex would have been good last turn. It's not doing anything so far. It might be safe. Anything planned? Got 5 energies, that's hitting for 150, 160, 190 so far. Well, we'll talk about my next turn. I'm probably going to Hooper for another Gardevoir and a Mega Gardevoir. And then set up loads of supporters, but I think I only have access to... I have Sycamore and Lysander. I could play the Lysander Shaman game, or Lysander Hooper game. It's fantastic that it doesn't knock me out. It's making it even more tempting to play it, because I have access to it 2 turns in a row. And then it's just a matter of killing Hooper, Shaman, and then one other EX. So... we'll see if we get a Mega Turbo. If we get a Mega Turbo, I'll probably take that route. So we'll take... oh, we don't need a Shaman. We'll take a Gardevoir and a Mega Gardevoir. Alright, we can fill up our bench. Mega Evolve that. Play the Floatstone down onto... That's a hard one actually. Possibly a Gardevoir. We only play 3 Spirit Links, so one of these Gardevoirs is going to have to manually evolve. Sure. And we'll set up, try and get Fairy Energy and Mega Turbo. I believe there's an energy in the discard. If not, then... there is. We didn't get a Mega Turbo, but I think it's still fine to do. We have a load of VS Seekers left still in our deck. So I think we're racing. God, this is a hard decision. I think we'll race in the future and just Hex. Yeah, Hex this turn. It stops him from moving an energy of Flash Fire so that he can get an energy off this. I think that's probably the best course of action right now. It's just a bit annoying because we don't have the other energy to attack with Mega Gardevoir next turn, so I'll probably have to Sycamore, but play Hex and knock this, well, hit it for 110. We only need to do 110, so we won't discard any of my bench. If I top deck an energy as well, Hex is going to be cool next turn. It means he guaranteed can't knock me out if I attack with Mega Gardevoir. So Mega Gardevoir, attack, Hex. Would be a nice turn. Switch is pretty good for him. Gets to retreat into Volcanion and then power up some other stuff if he has a fire energy. And we saw he didn't have a fire energy at the end of last turn, so might not be an out for him. He's still going to go on and switch out of there. Did he get the fire energy, or is he going to play a supporter for it? Yep, he's going to dig for it. He's gone down to 9 cards left in deck, so he's only taken 1 prize so far. 9 cards left in deck. He's attaching Fury Belt there. I don't think that's the best. I think attaching it to a Shaman or a Shaman would have been the best there, just because it stops the Lysander KO. Yeah, he's got the energy. That's fine then. This could be quite an awkward turn. I really need either an Ultra Ball or an energy here to dig for a Mega Turbo / energy. Trainer's Mail, anything like that. Oh no, I don't play Trainer's Mail, do I? Another Acrobike, something to just let me dig through my deck a bit more. Be nice. Rather not play Sycamore. I'd very much like to play Lysander. Oh, we have a Floatstone on Gardevoir we can go into. Let me just read this. Imagine if we played Ninja Boy. That would have been crazy. I believe Ninja Boy's fixed online now, so could well be. Super Rod is not the card we're looking for. It looks like we're going to have to take this down the good old-fashioned way and deal with a 5 energy flare in another time. I think that's fine. It's not ideal, but let's get 2 Megas and a Hooper. Yeah. And we'll go ahead and play Sycamore. Just need an energy to attack this turn. We don't get any of that, that's fine. This is 170 HP, so I need to discard 6 Pokemon off my bench, which is a lot. I've got a lot of Super Rod. So we have another Spirit Link, which is awesome. Go ahead and put that there. We'll Hooper. Get Mega Gardevoir and Shaman. I think it's very likely I'm going to use Absol this turn just to make this slightly easier to knock out. I don't want to commit so much off my bench. We'll Super Rod. Stuff back in. Shaman, Unknown Gardevoir. And Ultra Ball. Probably discarding Shaman and Sycamore, just for another Shaman, to try and dig for that energy. No, we'll get the Absol. Yes, please. Right, we have it all. So we'll go for a knockout here. It's got 140 HP left. I just need to discard 3. It's not a problem. Got these 2 and a Shaman. That should be enough, right? 140. Yes, that's exactly enough. Right, now we just need to kill 2 more EXs. I definitely really want to find my N ASAP. Because he's going to take a knockout this turn, most likely. He just needs 2 Steam Ups. Or an energy. Just needs energies basically. But then I'll be able to knock this out, and he won't really be able to touch my Mega Gardevoir. I'll just discard all of my bench and then play the Lysander for the last 2 prizes game. I'm on to my last VS Seeker, which isn't ideal, actually. Right, he's got the 2 flash fires, as expected. I'm gonna have to deal 210, 130 damage to this. That's only discarding 2, so that's not too bad. Plays an energy retrieval. I think I've got this game wrapped up. The only thing is if he'd be able to attack with that. If he plays DCE, then I'm in trouble. So the question is, does he play DCE or energy switch or anything like that? Oh, he's going for another steam up. I don't think he needs that. I think he only needed 2 steam ups to knock out this Mega Gardevoir, but that's fine by me. And it hasn't really come into play much this game, so I'll talk about the changes that I've made to this deck, but for sure the float stones would go into either switches or escape ropes, probably one of each. You don't really need it to be a float stone, you only need the switch the one time, which is really early on in the game. So yeah, I definitely would. Oh, he did actually need that other. I must have miscounted how many he used. Alright then, so we'll go into... this is float stone, so you always go into that. Now I'm just going to get rid of everything off my bench and play the Lysander for game. I could end. Oh, almost touched the wrong thing. I could end, but then again, what am I threatened by? I'm threatened by Flareon hitting for 110, 120, 3 flare-ups, that's 90. That's 210 damage, which is exactly enough to kill me, so I probably should end. I'm gonna play the Mega Turbo now to increase my chances of drawing back into this VS Seeker. This VS Seeker is how I'm gonna win the game. I have 2 Lysanders. I need to draw back into this VS Seeker, and I do have Shamans left in deck. See, I've only used 1 Shaman, and I play 4, so I've played 2. I've used 2 Shamans, so I'm going to go for this line of play. I think it's the one that safeguards me most. And I draw back into it, which is great. I'll also play this Mega Turbo in case he ends me. And retreat. I should actually farewell letter as well, just to dig 1 more card into my deck. Should have done that first. That's another fairy. There's cards I don't need. Alright. So I hope we have a knockout here. 150 damage. Puts him on 230. Yes, that is a knockout. Then I should be able to just win. As long as he doesn't play a stadium down, I should just be able to play Lysander for game. But I have end him to 1. Hoping he doesn't draw anything useful. There we go. Unknown and Shaman are very good draws in case I do get in. And there is also one other change I'd make. I definitely tried to make space for another Spirit Link. 3 Spirit Link is very thin for a turbo deck. I only just realised that. So I definitely go for... Oh, he's got Fisherman. There we have it. that was the worst end of all time. I thought I had that game all wrapped up, but he is going to steam up 3 times. That's going to be 90 plus 80 damage for the energy, 170 plus 50 base, 220 plus 10, 230 damage, which is enough to knock me out. Unfortunately, I literally needed that 1 card from that end, and he hadn't played a Fisherman up to then, so VS Seeker wouldn't have done it. So I think that's still an interesting game to show. Shows this deck can compete. I mean, Volcanion's a top tier deck right now. Mega Gardevoir, I think I should have odds on won that game. I think 8 or 9 times out of 10 you do win those games. That was just unlucky that the Enter one took him exactly into Fisherman and Energy. I don't think he needed the Energy, but it took him into Fisherman Energy, and that's how you lose that game. So yeah, another Spirit Link. Take it up to 4 Spirit Links. Try it out. I hope you enjoyed this slightly different approach to a video, showcasing more the deck building and then testing to improve your deck kind of style of video. Just let me know if that's the kind of thing you want to see in the future, and I will gladly do some more. So yeah, please subscribe to our channel. It will help us out a lot. We're definitely ramping up the volume of videos. As Alex said in the previous video, there's 4 of us now that are going to be committed to making videos, especially once we've moved house. So subscribe. It helps us out, and it's just a 1 click to